What happens when I decide for myself that I'm gonna do something different? Because yeah, nothing changes if nothing changes, man.
Lots of people will spend a lifetime doing the right things, like trying to journal, pray. They develop a morning routine. They try to focus on positive thinking. They go to the right seminars. They try to put themselves in the right rooms. And they can't seem to maintain that elevated emotional state because their physiology is dragging them back down into the state where you most comfortably exist. Rather than learn to cope with what you have, why don't you dig in and get rid of it?
Takes guts. You got to dig down deep to gut it out. Keep on going again and again and again until you make it happen, because you know that it's possible. So what I want you to do is think about something you want for you, that's real for you, that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power.
You have the power to create meaning in your life rather than passively look for it. Meaning to me is, do I know more about the world today than I did yesterday? And if that accumulates and accrues daily, in a month you know way more than you did than just that day later, so that you continue to grow.
Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they've done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things that they have observed. What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory.
And it's so much easier to make the same choice every single day. And the hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. You're going to feel uncomfortable. So some people would rather tell the story of their past instead of telling the story of their future. They'd rather believe in their past instead of believe in their future.
If you actually just make little promises and keep little promises to yourself, it is amazing what it will do for your confidence level, your self-esteem, and could entirely change the trajectory of your life. You keep breaking promises to yourself. I'm gonna work out the first thing tomorrow morning. I get up, I get on my phone, I miss the workout. And that is the most detrimental thing for our psyche.
If you want to know something about yourself, sit on your bed one night and say, my life is not everything I want it to be, and perhaps it's not everything that I need it to be. What's one thing I'm doing wrong, that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, that I would fix? You meditate on that, you'll get an answer. And it won't be one you want, but it'll be the necessary one.
Well, most people, ladies and gentlemen, when something happens to them, what they do is they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And they can't see the possibility of it being any different.
No one ever told me that I had to search for meaning in life to begin with. It was, I got my life, this is who and what I am, this is what I did in school, these are my dreams, ambitions. How do I create meaning in my life as I go forward? My first question of me wasn't, where do I find meaning? It was, how do I create meaning? And that started early.
I know one day I'm gonna be somebody. You'll know when
Please look at my face. You're somebody now. I was somebody long before people knew who I was, and I believed that. You're somebody now. Do you know yourself? Or do you aspire to be something you might actually not be?
We are just completely in this incredible place of unlimited options. I just struggle with people's inability to have perspective on where they sit in opportunity in a 7.7 billion person world.
I used to drag through school. By the time I got to 3:30, I was like dead, because I hated it. So you can't put in the hours unless you love it. That's why I believe loving it leads to the most success, because I think somebody else loves what you don't love, that you're doing for money, thus they'll be more successful because they're gonna do it for 19 hours. Now there's talent.
Yes.
You may not love singing and you open up your mouth and you sound like Whitney Houston, that's real. You may not love, there's athletes, absolutely, I know them, who are not passionate about their sport, but they were born 6'10", and very coordinated. So it happens, but I think that's the rarity.
Your rank amongst the 7.7 billion people in the world when it comes to opportunity is ridiculous.
To have a special life, you have to do special things. And that usually means putting in the work and loving it. Please factor in what the world's going to be like in 2019 to 2025 versus looking at what the world was like 2009 to 2015. Way too many decisions by way too many people are being made by factoring in the past without anticipating the future.
Forget about Benzes and shoes and homes and planes. The ROI of life is not money, it's being happy. And when I look at the people that I see that are happy, regardless of their income levels or success or fame or notoriety or money, so much of that is completely predicated on the fact that either their parenting or circumstance helped them have actual perspective to what the hell is going on here.
I don't think there's anything wrong with chasing money. I just think that it's usually the quickest way not to get it.
When you feel that there's no other source controlling your shit, all of a sudden it gets happier. Your ego and your insecurity doesn't want to take the L. You don't want to admit that you f***ed up. Because for some reason, so many of you are living your lives based on other people's opinions, and that is crippling you.
It's crazy how I feel my whole life. Never had peer pressure, never did anything, ever, that I didn't want to do because I just didn't value somebody else's opinion over mine. And that comes from good parenting, circumstance, DNA, a million things. I don't know how to teach that. What I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to become, in a weird way, I like being popular because I become your courage. I think the most flattering thing that's happening to me in my life is I'm becoming people's courage. Because when they take risk and they take ridicule, they point to me.
If you let somebody else's opinion, whether your spouse, your boss, your mom, your aunt, your best friend, if you genuinely are living your only life, which, oh, by the way, by modern scientific terminology, is 400 trillion to 1. If you even could comprehend how ridiculous it is that we are even alive, like, do you understand how ludicrous it is that you have a life? There's nothing mathematically in life that can happen that is more ridiculous than the fact that you got one. You're more likely to get struck by lightning 14 times than have a life. My friends, negativity can lead at halftime. Kindness always wins the game.
Your life is predicated on when you get real quiet and you can't hear another person's 2 cents.
The reason I can work 17 hours a day is because I'm not spending 15 hours a day dwelling or looking back. Faking it till you make it is the great flaw of this generation. Please don't do it. Please stop listening to anybody but yourself. Please eliminate negativity from your life, because if you want to really win, it is absolutely by reinforcing positivity. So get real quiet in here, get real selective about who you're spending time with, and most of all, speak the truth. Do the right thing. Kindness is cool. Truth is cool. Don't act like you've made it. Talk about the journey of trying to make it.
Judge a person not by what they accomplish, but what they had to overcome for their accomplishment. People that are hungry have zero excuses for not pursuing their dreams. And they come back again and again and again. They operate like Willie Jolly, who said that a setback is a setup for a comeback. I've got a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You can get up. You can get up. I'm training people to get into their greatness, to begin to develop the courage to pursue dreams beyond their comfort zones. Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. When you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, so you act like you don't have any. There's never a shortage of opportunities. It's just a shortage of thinking. Because some things are taught and some things are caught. When I was in the 5th grade, they put me back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. I failed again in the 8th grade. I have no college training. So being identified and labeled as DT, the dumb twin, it gave me a lot of things to overcome. And so there was no one to dispute what was said about me, and I bought it. Even if you are told a lie, faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. You hear it often enough, it becomes your reality. Perception, not challenge, becomes real for you. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. So if you can track failure, you can also track success. You have greatness in you. I don't know you, but here's what I know based upon my own experience. You have greatness in you, that you have the ability to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. You have greatness in you. There's a presence in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. When you recognize your greatness, no one will ever pull your strings. You are different. You were created on purpose with a purpose to manifest that purpose through you. You will never exercise authority and dominion over your life until you exercise authority and dominion over what you are not. Most people go through life living the lie that has been told about them. When you're pursuing your greatness, you live from a place of the willingness to live life courageously, to be willing to take chances, to become a risk taker, to make impact, to go beyond believing to knowing, to lean not unto your own understanding, to feel within yourself there's some cause, there's something that's bigger than me, but I'm never alone in facing this. There's a presence that will never leave me nor forsake me, and that when you step into that place, more of thee, less of me, that there's a place where we can go within ourselves. There are things that we can accomplish, things that we can do that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for us. When we surrender life to me, when you're pursuing your greatness, you find something that you love, that you surrender to that something gives you life, and that you turn yourself over to that and allow yourself to be used by life. That to me is what greatness is. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I was pondering about my life, am I going to beat this? And I was reading his words for comfort, and he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. But imagine being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts, and there they are looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what gifts will die with you? As I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? My goal now, we learn, we earn, we pass it on. We should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. I think it's important that people find something that gives their life a sense of meaning and value that drives them, that becomes their magnificent obsession. Because we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential, we go to our graves never knowing who we really are.
So do me a huge favor, guys. Stop mimicking people. Stop mimicking people. You are unique. You are special. You are gifted. I don't care where you come from. I don't care where you are in your current life right now. God's not finished with you. Your life is not over. The best is yet to come. I need you to operate in that. So you're going to surround yourself with great people, all right? You're going to immerse yourself in your work.
You don't know what your limits are, and you act like you don't have any. So I say to you, you have something special. You have greatness within you.
See, when I look at the things that I used to be, I look at procrastination, I look at scared, I look at being worried, I look at doubtfulness, and you need to say, thank you for getting me to this point. But in order for me to get there, I have to leave you here.
All you need, listen to me, is average skill, but if you got phenomenal will, there's nothing you can't do.
If you die this very moment, what will die with you? What dreams? What ideas? What talents? What leadership potential? What greatness that you showed up to bring? That you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back?
Start where you are with what you have, for what you have is plenty. You hear what I said? Start where you are with what you have, because what you have is plenty enough.
See, once you commit yourself, the how will come, the way will come, because you really don't know what you can't do.
When you start accomplishing stuff, when you start checking stuff off, when you get that degree, when you get that house, when you get that promotion, listen to me, when you live in it, when you in it, you feel like, I wish I could have this moment for life. Why? Because in this moment, because in this moment, I just feel so alive.
Your greatest leap comes in a combination. I'm complete and I'm ready. I'm complete with that and I'm ready for that.
See, 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. 85% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed.
We work, we grind in between time. We don't give up. We don't surrender. We don't quit. We see differently. Our perspective is different. And because our perspective is different, our outcomes are different. Our rewards are different. When we see trial, tribulation, we don't give up or give in. We know the blessing is on the inside.
And that's the problem with the mind. You know, I want your listeners or viewers to really think about this. You do not experience life. You experience the life you focus on. That's it.
I don't think greatness is something you're born with, some mysterious power bestowed upon us by God. It's something that truly exists in everyone. I look at it as a superpower we all have, buried deep inside us. This tiny diamond surrounded by layers and layers of rock, the hardest rock in the universe. And every time you do something good, a piece of that rock breaks away.
I see dudes 6'10", I'm like, you wasting it. You bragging about you 6'8", you wasting the height. I'm about 5'10" with my shoes on. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. Married 5'10", been married 30 years 5'10", 2 beautiful kids 5'10". I don't need to be 6'6", that's your life.
See, they don't understand you wanted success and you wanted it so badly. You fell madly in love with the process, and therefore you gladly pushed past the limits of average. If there was an opportunity in your sight, you grabbed it.
Be comfortable in who you are. Be comfortable if y'all poor. If you come from a family right now that's broke, you use that to your advantage. I use that to my advantage that I was a high school dropout, that I was homeless, that I ate out of trash can. I love dealing with a dude who think because he come from money, he better than me. Let's go.
But so many of you out there have the heart of a lion, but you keep lying to yourself. You keep denying yourself. You keep depriving yourself. You keep hiding yourself from the gifts that you have to share with the world.
From this day forward, set out to achieve greatness, not by looking for someone to give it to you. No, but by going to work to set your own inner greatness free.
Let's go. You got money, but do you got that dog? Yeah, you got money, you got privilege, but do you got that dog?
You are the example now. You are the man to reshape the culture of your world.
Do you got that stamina? So yeah, you might have something I don't have right now. But if I work hard, I can have what you have.
So just when they think you're about to give up, you remember all the reps in the gym, the days you outworked all of them. And that's what gives you the strength to power through the fatigue and rise above the rim.
Be the mighty man of valor that wants to change the next generation.
They might have more talent, but they fold under pressure because they were only out for the pleasure, the gold, and the treasure. And thus, they crumble to better or even lesser competition. So the day all of the excuses stop, this is where your heart of a champion starts.
You will have to become someone you've never been before. You want to go somewhere you've never gone? You got to do something you've never done. You got to say something you've never said. You got to go to a place in you that you've never even been. You get to redesign. You are your Michelangelo. You are your greatest sculpture. And you get to recarve and you get to up-level as much as you need. You're not sentenced to this life this way. You chose it. You get to choose as much as you want. You get to design it any way you choose. You're not sentenced to your future. You have an opportunity to your future. What do you want and how do you want it? And if it doesn't make you a little afraid, then you ain't playing big enough. Your knees are supposed to knock a little bit. Your teeth are supposed to chatter a little bit. There's supposed to be at least 2 butterflies in your stomach. At least. Because if not, you're playing inside your comfort zone. And we mistake the fact that we're supposed to be comfortable 24/7. Well, let me tell you something. Comfortable is equivalent to complacent. I'll choose inconvenience every day, any day, to make a difference on the planet. I don't mind being mildly to moderately to significantly inconvenienced to leave my fingerprint on this planet. So I just came to talk to the game changers and to the change agents who are willing to confront any part of you that's not speaking to your madly, wildly amazing future. I stand here in my greatness. I own my light. I own my brilliance. I am bold. I am courageous. I'm perfect in my imperfection. This is my time. This is my time. I'm bright enough. I'm old enough. I'm young enough. I've experienced enough. I'm wise enough. I understand that I am enough. Breathe. Own it. Own it.
You're not going to change anybody else till you change you. Everything really does begin with you. I found a lot of people pretty much that way. They've got an awful lot underneath the surface, but until they bring it out and take it to the marketplace, they will never realize even a minute fraction of the benefits that they could bring themselves, their families, their friends, their community, and everyone else.
When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary that you go for what is yours in the universe.
What is it that I must become in order to manifest the vision that's beginning to articulate itself through me right now? What must I become? Where must I grow in my own life in order to be a vehicle for this transcendent vision that wants to express through me right now? There is a sacred law that you can't really have in your life what you're not willing to become vibrationally. What must I become? Where must I grow? Some people need to grow in becoming more more loving or more self-loving? Where must I grow?
Who do you need to become to start the business? To move into the new location? To start traveling? To make new friends? To take up new hobbies and new investments and endeavors? To impact? Who are you going to have to become to build that philanthropic portfolio? To serve in areas you've never served? To see and to sow in places you've never been? Your destiny is linked to your identity.
Your perseverance is not even about you. The future, the next generation, legacy, destiny is attached to this. It is only then that you will be able to manifest and become who you were destined to be.
The hardest part of making millions of dollars and being successful in business is becoming the person who is able to do the thing. That's the hardest part. Hardest part's not doing things that'll make you $1 million. That's not the hardest part. The hardest part is you becoming the person who has enough intestinal fortitude and grit to go down into the laboratory, the cave, the drawing board, whatever you want to call it, and obsess over this problem long enough to find an elegant, effortless, effective solution. That's the part. Because most people don't have enough intestinal fortitude, they don't have enough stick-to-itiveness, they don't have enough grit to last through the learning curve to become the person who can do the thing that makes them deserve to have the stuff. Yeah, even if you take a tree growing in a garden, you plant the seed in the ground. In order for the seed to become a tree, the first thing it must do is exactly the same as the first thing we must do when we're getting ready to go through our transformation. What is that? It must be willing to cease to be a seed. Unless I'm willing to cease being what I've always been, I can never become whatever I can't have the potential to become.
If I were to give people one single tool that would help them improve their lives, I would invite them to embrace the awareness and to use as a tool their consciousness that your life is not about you. It's about everyone else whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. Everything that you hope to manifest in your life and searching for all the good things in life come to you automatically, almost without trying. That's all you'll need to transform your experience of who you are and to touch everyone else in life in a way that will allow them to begin to experience who they are.
I came to realize that it's not about me. The experience is yours, but the experience that people take from the content, you will never own. I will never know how much what I do affects people or doesn't. I'm not responsible for what happens with what is created once it's out in the world. The reason I was there was not to have a personal experience. The reason I was there was to make a film that could potentially shed light on an issue or teach something to people, because I was so busy worrying about being Mr. Program Maker and making this film that was perfect in my mind's eye. Whereas in reality, the conversation that was being had never been had before. And as a result, it actively changed lives of people watching. It literally changed the lives of people that messaged me. It wasn't about me. And being comfortable with that is quite difficult, but also quite freeing in a lot of ways.
People come to the work for all kinds of reasons, and I don't really care. But by the time they start doing the work, all they really want to do is give. Because when you feel so amazing and feel so great about yourself that you no longer want anything, the first thing you want to do is give. I mean, and it's just a practice. And as you do that and you start seeing all the fun things happening, it's not like, oh, I got to go create my life today. You're like, I got to go because I don't want the magic to stop. So I just do it because I love the crazy, magical, wonderful things that happen that I would just never anticipate in my life. And so people are catching on to it, and they start coming for one reason, they want money or they want health, but it's not about your money, it's not about your health, it's not about your new relationship, it's not even about the mystical moment, it's about who you become in the process. Because overcoming all those limitations to become somebody else, nobody can take that away from you.
Your matters are the peace of the world. You are beyond yourself. You're greater than yourself.
failing has become critical in my growth. I'd fallen so flat on my face for the first time in my life. I was depressed, asking myself why me? How can this happen? I work so hard. Hard work pays, I always thought. It's not paying for me. I got nothing. I literally had $7 in my pocket, so my $7 story. That failure, rising from that to say, it's not over for me. I'm immediately going to launch myself into training for professional wrestling. I couldn't have launched myself with that type of training that I did every day for hours in a boxing ring that was stiff like concrete. Every day for hours. I couldn't have launched myself with that type of mentality had I not fallen on my face after 10 years of football and failed. A failed football player who wound up moving back in with his parents at 24.
You're moving from point A to point B in your little circumscribed world. You've made everything invisible, and as long as that works, then your theory's good enough. It's accurate enough. It's true enough. You're in your little paradise. But if something comes up and objects, well, that's where your character is tested fundamentally. That's the character test. It's like, what do you do with messages of error?
Don't second guess yourself, and don't be so afraid of failing that you create excuses instead of producing results.
Failure is designed to teach you a lesson. Keep pushing forward and learn from the failures and move forward with a purpose.
Because you can look up and days, weeks, months, years can go by and you can go, I've been tiptoeing around here, not committing to anything for so long, I'm missing out. Sometimes it's not even about what choice we make, just make a choice and commit to it and go and dive in.
You're all right, man. You're okay. Learn from it, don't dwell on it, move on and go do something really positive in the world.
There's no chance you're gonna work hard enough to achieve what you want unless you're in a good place. The reality of how life works, everyone's ambition is completely dictated by what's going on inside of them emotionally.
The power is in your perspective. The power, the difference between those who make something happen and those who do not is wrapped in the truth and in the power of their perspective.
When we broaden our perspective, we often realize that there's a lot more to the situation. Our problems shrink because we realize there's a whole universe out here that is much bigger than you. So it's like the ultimate way of broadening your perspective and helping you realize that, what you're going through, while still significant, there's more to it. There's more to life than this.
I think when you're in that space, one of the most difficult things to do is to actually get perspective. I only discovered I couldn't see clearly when I was with someone who could see clearly. And the first time I put on glasses, I realized leaves were distinct individual pieces on a tree. That's the difference between surviving and being alive. When you're alive, you see the details and the beauty and the wonder. A person who's just existing, every day they struggle with depression and fear and anxiety. They see everything that's missing. They are haunted by all their disappointments, and they have not one more disappointment than the person who's fully alive, and not one more challenge or struggle or hardship. But the person who's alive somehow sees beauty in everything, sees wonders, and that's what I know I'm alive. Yeah. When I'm going, man, you cannot bring enough difficulty in my life to steal from me the wonder of taking this next breath.
The fact that one human being can say one thing at the right second to another human being that can fundamentally change the process of their life because they have now decided to open up a different perspective and see the world differently is the most intoxicating, most powerful reason that human beings are the best in the world. And if you think the people that are using fear and negativity to get your attention and you're saying they're right, they're just selling you darkness and you're buying it.
Got this gorgeous story. He talks about how when him and his wife first got together before they were married, I think they were 23, 24, he said to his wife, that really was living, wasn't it? That really was the golden years. It's just so amazing. We used to lie in on a Sunday and we could go for lunch and do all the rest of it. His wife said, you were miserable. You hated it. You hated all of those things. In hindsight, you're able to see that the fears that captured you at the time were not worth having. But at the time, you have no certainty that those aren't salient. So what you see in retrospect is how you should have felt had you known what was going to occur.
If a person goes through something that's traumatic, the average person's perspective is going to go to a space and place. What did you lose? People very rarely will ask the question, man, what did you learn from it?
What did you gain?
What did you gain? Right? How did it make you a better person? I know it didn't feel good. That's obvious. I know it hurt, right? I know you didn't like it. It wasn't convenient. But like, what did you gain from it? I just want to know, right? From the loss, from the pain.
If I look back in my life, I'm 39 now, and I think about all the challenging moments, I wouldn't change any of them. There's some things that seem so painful that I didn't want to experience, but the lesson that I learned from them, the person I became by overcoming them, is so much more powerful than not having them. It's not until we can get through it and reflect on it, and we have hindsight. Oh, this taught me this lesson, or here's why this needed to happen, or...
The first step to change is examining your thoughts, paying attention to how you speak and how you act, and look at these emotions that keep you connected to the past and finally decide, does this emotion belong in my future? That is what drives us to our dreams, and you just got to be able to sustain that state of being independent of anyone or anything in your life. And if you can, get ready, because that's when your life changes. You're literally thinking differently, you're acting differently, and you're feeling differently. That's a new personality, and that means a new personal reality.
I tell people all the time, man, the easiest thing in the world to do is to be negative.
So easy.
Easiest thing in the world to do is complain. Easiest thing in the world to do is to quit. That's easy.
I pour my pain out onto the written page, and then I write about the good things, and that gives me that key word, which is perspective. Wow. You know, there's that Persian proverb, I cursed the fact I had no shoes until I saw the man who had no feet.
And then if you start to think differently because you learn new information, you begin to make different choices. And if you make different choices, you can begin to do different things and behave in different ways, and you can create new experiences.
We see differently. Our perspective is different. And because our perspective is different, our outcomes are different. Our rewards are different.
So the greatest gift you could give yourself is, I believe, to make that decision and say life is too short to suffer. It doesn't matter what happens. You're going to find something to enjoy and appreciate.
Please keep life in perspective, because things could be a whole lot worse. So instead of complaining, do yourself a favor. Man, start counting your blessings. That's right, the best is yet to come. So please, remember, life is just perspective, man.
If you change the way you look at things, then the things that you see will change.